In today's video, we're going to check out the brand new OnePlus Buds Pro 3. This is the latest edition of premium audio coming in from the OnePlus brand. We've seen them come up with updates to a lot of their other lines, and of course, now we finally have the Pro series on their main line. This is going to be the best that OnePlus has to offer for 2024, and I'm excited to be here to be able to share with you guys my experience after using these for some time. This is TK. Let's go ahead and check out the brand new OnePlus Buds Pro 3, and of course, see how they pair up. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos on the channel. So in front of us is the box. It's pretty simple, but you can definitely see one of the design changes that they did from last generation. Up to this point, I will be very honest with you guys that OnePlus Buds Pro 2 from last year have been my favorite pair of buds. A lot of times I've covered a lot of different pairs. I go and review them, I come back, and at the end of the day, for some reason, the battery life, the performance, and the audio experience has been one of the biggest things that brought me back to them. You can even see some of the scuffs here from the keys in my pocket because that's how much I've had a lot of, basically, it just sits in the same pocket as my keys. So it's definitely going to get a little bit of, tumbling in there. But one of the biggest things I like about this and the changes that they've done this year is that they've gone the design over to the OnePlus Buds Pro 3 here. A little bit more similar to what we saw here with the Nord Buds that came out not that long ago. You notice the design aesthetics is very similar. Although the big differences and of course a few other things in there that will make them very unique. First and foremost, when we're looking at them, you can see here, it went from a square to more of an oval shape. If you're holding it more like it looks like pretty much like an egg. That permeates all around the front area as well as the back area, providing us a little bit more of a premium feel. It isn't leather, it just feels that way. I just want to be very, very clear. And I'll probably say it's the closest thing that I could figure closer to the basically OnePlus Open backing. So if you have a OnePlus Open, that's how it feels on the actual case itself on the outside. Not the actual, the faux leather that we have on the back of the device, but more on the case. Looks good, it provides us a nice little pattern. And of course, there's a couple of colors where this one is coming in. Of course, in the box, pretty much you're getting the buds, you get the case, and you get removable or replaceable ear tips, of course, large, small, and medium, and of course, a USB-C, an A-to-C cable to be able to charge them. Although, one thing to keep in mind, these will charge wirelessly as well as wired, so we have the wired solution on the bottom, and of course, on the side, we have the reset pairing button, so you're also able to actually charge them wirelessly. Although, one thing to keep in mind, wired will be your fastest at about 70 minutes, and of course, if you go wireless, it's about 2.5 hours to between 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on the charge level that you have. But you're never going to be able to lose it. Any device that has wireless charging should be able to charge up these buds for you on the go. Now you'll notice the difference between the design on both of these. For me, for some reason, I feel like the Buds Pro 3 are a little bit bigger, but again, it could just be me looking at them in a different lighting. You'll notice here on the outside that area also has been expanded. We have a dual driver configuration here on the Buds Pro 3 with an 11 and a 6mm driver. We have 3 microphones similar to what we had before, but we also have the ability of actually what they're referring to as a voice pickup option, which allows it to actually know when you're talking. And we're going to definitely do an audio test on that and make sure to demonstrate how the audio on the brand new Buds Pro 3 are. Other than that, they both charge pretty much similarly. They have a little bit of a pin connectors on the side here to be able to charge them. This one is actually slightly different because it actually connects directly into it. So you'll notice that the connectors are sitting ever so slightly on the side here. So it's going to charge directly in the case, positioned straight down. And you cannot use, obviously, the case from one pair of buds to the other. Both charge wirelessly. Both have a USB-C connector. So I'll go put them. This one's on the back and this one's on the bottom. Now you may not notice it right away, but it is OnePlus with the collaboration with Deviant Audios, and of course Deviant Audios are the same thing. They're both going to be giving us great bass, great audio, and of course long battery life. And that's one of the things I appreciate about the Buds Pro 2 as well as the Buds Pro 3. One of the things I'd say is if you're connecting this to a OnePlus device, doesn't matter if it's a current one or even a recent generation OnePlus device, you don't need to download any application. For the most part, the Bluetooth configuration is pretty much going to be where you live. On this one, on the OnePlus Open, I already had it connected. You'll notice right there, TK's OnePlus Buds Pro 3. They're connected. You can unpair them. It does configure it to use the best audio resolution on this, or basically the best experience that you can get on these buds, and that is using LHDC. Now, this is something that only, for the most part, is going to be available on OnePlus devices, and it has to be running a most recent version of Android. So this is going to be obviously Oxygen OS. I think, if I'm not mistaken, between 11 and later. For the most part, you should be able to kind of get it there. Yeah, sorry. And the LHDT support here is pretty much configured to OnePlus devices. And if I'm not mistaken, I think as well as Oppo and Realme devices. So if you have one of these devices, you want to pick up one of these buds, you're not going to be disappointed. Of course, under earbud functionality, this is where we can configure the actual UI. First and foremost, this is the UI of the Hey Melody application. You're going to use this if you're using it on a non-OnePlus device. Non-OnePlus devices do not have the ability of configuring via Bluetooth. You'll notice we have the ability of turning on active noise cancellation off, and of course going to transparency. We have the Sound Master EQ. This is the DV and audio configuration that we have in there. High-res mode, this allows us to play high-resolution audio. You can turn that on. Now, once you turn that on, obviously you'll be able to support the best possible resolution that you're able to get on this. Golden Sound gives you the ability of configuring and customizing it to your ears, so essentially more of a custom fit experience or audio experience for you. Spatial audio, as you can imagine, pretty self-explanatory. We obviously have neck health. This gives you a little bit of a reminder to actually kind of move your neck so that you don't get a stiff neck. Zen Mode Air, this is obviously one of the nice focusing experiences that they brought in directly from the standard UI over to the buds. And of course, earbud controls, which gives us the understanding of how you are able to use both the left and the right. And the nice thing about them, you can actually reconfigure the buttons to whatever you feel like works best for you. Not only the ability of turning on Zen mode, but also the ability of initiating the assistant on your smartphone. And they're both independently configured. You're able to configure them to your heart's content. Last but not least, when we go into the basically camera related settings on OnePlus devices, you're able to initiate the camera. Dual connection allows you to connect this to actually two devices at the same time. Although the codec may not be the exact same, but it allows you to actually use it. So you'll notice right here, we have it connected to two devices. The OnePlus Open is the main device, and the secondary device is the S24 Ultra. One thing to keep in mind on an S24 Ultra, because it does not support LHDC, and these buds don't support LDAC, we're going to max out basically at AAC experience, which is not bad, but something to keep in mind when you're connecting it to a non-OnePlus device. Last but not least, of course, we have earbud fit. This gives us the ability of making sure that we have a good seal, the ability of updating the software, Find My Earbuds is also supported in here, and of course, Dolby Atmos configuration for audio experience. Now, this is mirroring what's on my OnePlus device. So if it's a non-OnePlus device and you don't have Dolby, this may not show up in here. And this is going to give you the ability of going in there and customizing the audio experience. Now, for me, I went with the DVN audio featured EQ, and I also went in a little bit extra with the bass wave, adding +3. So that, personally, that's how my EQ configuration is built in. And of course, I went in a little bit more as well with the Dolby Atmos configuration and set up my personal own music customized EQ that I'm listening to. Again, your personal preference may be different, and it is something that you're able to configure on the device. And as you can see here on the S24 Ultra, you're able to see the same information, the battery health on both the buds as well as the case, the ability of configuring them. One thing to mention, the reason why it says off right now, and it's because I don't have the buds inserted in the ears. Once you have them inserted, by default, it goes to noise cancellation. And noise cancellation can be switched over in different configuration, but we also have the ability of customizing max, smart, moderate, and mild. And if I press and hold on the actual earbud itself, you're able to jump between transparency and a noise cancellation. And of course, once you take them off, it just takes off because it no longer needs to actually activate that. It does use battery to be able to run those two modes. Off will give you the best battery life, but I feel like for the best experience, you should always keep it on noise cancellation and max it depending on the area that you're in. Now, one of the things I really appreciate, is definitely when I'm using it with a OnePlus device, is the ability of listening to highest quality possible audio. I'm listening to this track by Norah Jones. Now, obviously, I'm not playing that back for you guys, unfortunately, for copyright reasons, but I wanted to show you guys the capabilities of the actual unit. The track actual maximum quality on Ultra HD here on Amazon Music is 24-bit 96 kilohertz, and that is the capability of this device. Now, AAC unfortunately does limit that to 44 kilohertz, but that's something to keep in mind in there, that you're losing a little bit on the fidelity when you're not using it within a OnePlus device. But 24-bit 96 kilohertz at high quality here stereo while still connected to a second device is also very nice. Now, of course, I can switch over to Dolby, and that's going to be one of the other nice configuration since my device supports it. But for the best, again, I think this is definitely going to provide you a very well-rounded experience, the highest possible quality audio that you're able to listen to. And if you're a bass head like me and you enjoy a little bit more bass, the ability of actually punching the bass a little bit higher, especially for those dance and EDM tracks, as I don't know if you guys probably have seen me or checked out the channel before, I am very much into. I like to listen to dance, EDM, basically just heavy bass, things that just provide the energy through its bass. As I showed you guys before, the buds are definitely very nice. There's two colors that are going to be available. Now, for me, this actually, the fit is very nice. Give it a second. It activates noise cancellation right away. There's a little bit of a chirp that goes on when you first put them in your ear, but for the most part, you'll notice they're very stealthy. They almost look like I'm not even wearing them. Obviously, if you have any hair more than I do, everybody kind of qualifies there almost. I feel like it'll perfectly blend into whatever you're using, and that's one of the reasons I went with this color over the additional one that they have. Of course, to control your device is pretty straightforward. You don't have to have the screen on the way I have it just to show you guys that the track is playing. Just basically click. It just, again, everything runs there. Double click. You can skip forward, 3 clicks, restarts the track. I didn't do it fast enough, so it didn't actually go all the way to the beginning one. But in case you want to be able to jump back and forth, you could do that. Right now, out of the box, as I mentioned, the active noise cancellation and transparency mode are configured by default. So if I press and hold it first, maybe about 2 or 3 seconds, you'll hear like a nice little chirp, and this is where the magic happens. You probably have noticed that my voice changed a little bit. It does not feel like I'm wearing buds. The transfer of audio from the outside to the inside part of the ear, because of the 3 microphones, and it also has a very good seal. I'm using the largest ear tip in there. Make sure you use the right one always. If you don't know which one is the best, make sure you use the ear fit test that they have in there directly in the application, and it does a very nice job of letting you know if the fit of the tips that you're using are correct, or do you need to go to the next size to provide that better sealed. Because the ANC works great, but if you have, I guess, audio leakage in, that's just not going to make the experience as enjoyable as it could be. But one of the things I really enjoyed about this is using them outside. So I wanted to show you guys real quick an audio sample of the microphones, the 3 microphones on each unit itself, how they perform when there is A, wind, B, an airplane flying, and C, an AC unit running in the nearby area. Can you hear any of those when I'm recording audio? Let's check that out. So what we're doing right now is recording video utilizing the microphones built in to the brand new Buds Pro 3. The biggest thing I'll probably say overall for me, with active noise cancellation turned on right now, I can't hear anything that's going on next to me. So there's some wind with leaves here up there. There's a plane flying above me, and I can't hear any of that. For the most part, what it's focusing on is the experience that I'm basically recording audio for you. My hope is that the audio sounds good, that actually the experience should be mirrored over to, let's say, when you're having phone calls, you want to record a video, you want to record a content, anything you want to do with these buds, it should work exactly like this. Great audio, great ANC, and of course, really good battery life. Now, one thing you probably have noticed in there is that you couldn't hear that part. I couldn't hear that part. For the most part, all of that was being canceled, and that's the beauty of what the Buds Pro 3 are providing us here. Great audio, a great experience when it comes to the basically, conversational audio that we're talking about, as well as playback. Now, again, if you are an owner of a previous generation of OnePlus Buds, and I feel like this is something that is going to be just a shoo-in, you're going to love these. This just builds on what you already enjoy using those buds, and you're not going to be disappointed. If you're coming into these from, let's say, the Nord series, again, very big upgrade, very, very nice. If you're coming in, let's say, from other devices or maybe other buds that are using different codecs and so on, this is where you kind of need to figure out what is the best fit for you. If you want to get the best experience out of these, I feel like a device like the OnePlus devices are going to be the best experience because they do support the LHDC, the highest resolution audio that these buds can support. AAC is not bad. I keep making it sound like AAC is not a good codec, but it's a codec that provides you less, I would say basically the quality is a little bit different. And of course, the transmission rate and just the overall performance that you're able to get when you're trying to, let's say if you subscribe to a premium audio experience, you're not going to be able to listen at the highest resolution. That's, I think, maybe the best way to say that. Now, when it comes down to playback, this is going to be obviously a combination between A, volume, B, ANC on and off, and C, obviously, what codec you're using. If you're going to go for basically full bore, everything turned on, everything great, you're using a OnePlus device, you're going to get roughly about 4.5, 5 hours. That's going to be the best experience for consistent music playback. And again, keep in mind, you can use them in one earbud at a time. You don't have to have them together. If you change some of those configurations and you turn off active noise cancellation, if you don't need that, you're definitely going to get a better experience. And the charge back on this, again, about 70 minutes, you should be able to go from 0 to 100 wired. And again, if you're going to go wireless, topping it off every once in a while, you're probably never going to lose charge on this at all. For me, I've gone through the entire process of testing it out since I first started using these, and I've only had to charge them once, and that's the enjoyment part of it. Also, the case has been sitting in the same pocket as the old the OnePlus Buds Pro 2, and that means they're sitting next to my keys, no scuffs, no issues, and I think that's another plus as well. The materials on this is good. The range is very nice. Typical range test that I always do. I always go to the other side of the house. I play music. I leave my phone in the office, and the audio stayed very, very nicely. I like the fact that although we have dual device configuration, we also have the ability of getting the best experience on both devices. Other companies have actually put it out where we have dual device configuration, but then we lose the highest quality audio on the buds themselves. I think typically most buds will basically use, let's say, LDAC, because again, LDAC is much more readily available. LHDC steps it up a little bit, and I feel like that's what I enjoy the most. As you saw there with the track with Norah Jones, it sounds really good. It just fills up the experience. If you want to listen to spatial audio, if you want to do some more things, I think everything is going to be in there very nicely. So I do want to say thank you very much to OnePlus for sending me these buds to review and provide you guys my experience after using them for some time. And at the end of the day, if you're looking for a new pair of buds from OnePlus, and let's say you've used their buds before, This is not going to disappoint. This is the next step up from the OnePlus Buds Pro 2 from last year with even more features added. Like and subscribe as usual, and of course, I'll see you in the next video.